And my number one film of the year is Lincoln, directed by Steven Spielberg. Um, and this is an example of what I was mentioning before, how some filmmakers this year have really proved that they still have the ability to capture American audiences in a way that maybe they never had before or used to, but haven't quite gone up to that level uh, that they had. And I feel that with Steven Spielberg. I've had a lot of issues with his last several films, or just Spielberg in the last 10, 15 years, I've had an issue with. But this film, I think, is one of his most poignant, and it's one of my favorites that he's done in a long time, maybe since Minority Report. And this is just, I'd have to say, I mean, I'll have to look back at his filmography, but this is one of my favorite films he's maybe ever done. Really, that's how much I love this movie. And I think a lot of it has to do with maybe my personal aesthetic, but I know I talk about how I like a lot of art cinema, challenging films like The Master. I like maybe a lot of foreign films and that sort of thing. And that's absolutely true. I do. I absolutely love avant garde films, but I do have a bit of a weakness for classic old Hollywood movies. Movies like, 12 Angry Men, Inherit the Wind, All About Eve, the sort of films that are real character pieces, character ensembles that have wonderful writing, writing like Billy Wilder, Preston Sturges, Ben Hecht, Mankiewicz, the list goes on and on and on. Great filmmakers of old classic Hollywood. And this movie really does evoke all of those feelings that I have for those kinds of movies because it is done in the tradition of classic Hollywood. It has this very warm Americana feel to it, and it does have wonderful character actors, a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant script. And it's beautifully shot. It's got an epic quality to it, but yet it has such dimension. And I think that this is just one of those classically beautiful movies that reminds me of the great American artists or musicians like George Gershwin or I don't know, a lot of different people, Irving Berlin or something like that. That kind of wonderfully classic style of storytelling. This movie, yes, all the actors are at their best. I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, he he is just a genius. He is an acting genius. I think he's one of the greatest actors I've ever seen in my entire life, and I've seen a lot of movies. He has created a Lincoln that is just so, I guess, so real, yet so, at the same time so poetic and theatrical. But there's such pathos in what he's created, and the physicality, and through the eyes, and through the voice, and this is the greatest, definitely in my opinion, the greatest Lincoln I've ever seen portrayed on screen for sure. And also, I think that this script has really gotten a lot out of actors maybe that I hadn't seen before. Like Tommy Lee Jones, he's a wonderful actor, but he's really at his best here, or he's done some of his finest work I've ever seen. And then even Sally Field, she a lot of times I think her as an actress, she's overly spunky and maybe a little bit too aggressive for my taste. But this, I think she found the perfect balance here of the aggressiveness towards Abraham Lincoln, her husband in the film. And I think it really, everything is played to her strengths. Everything is wonderful, between the two of them, their chemistry. And it's a very interesting relationship they have. And also, as I said, the writing is wonderful here. It really, really is. Um, just the way that Lincoln is shot, the entire film, the music is very Aaron Copland. Everything about this movie is almost perfect, I'd have to say. Except, okay, I do have a problem with Steven Spielberg and his sentimentality. I think there are a few flaws in that respect. I think that Spielberg, he's always had the ability to really touch the hearts of, Americans and moviegoers, and often he does so well in that because he does have a lot of escapist entertainment. But this film is meant to be more poignant, and I think when he adds that sentimentality, it doesn't really work. And there are only really a few instances of that, but it's enough for me to kind of look at it and be like, okay, I wish he had tamed himself maybe just a little bit more. But beyond that, really, I can't think of many things that I don't like about this movie. It is really, really good. And again, this has been a wonderful, wonderful year for movies. Now, I just want to say I do have one honorable mention, and that would be Moonrise Kingdom. That would probably be my number six. I absolutely adored that film. It was wonderfully charming and very bizarre. Great, great, great movie. And now I will say that this is my top five, but a lot of times I don't get to see all the movies that I wish I could have seen. So I didn't get to see Amour, I didn't get to see Rust and Bone, I didn't see Flight. So I'm hoping to see those movies when I can. But as of now, this is my top five of the movies that I have seen. And so now all we have to look forward to is award season. Yay. But anyway, so thank you guys so much for listening. Please, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, the link is below as always, and have a great day.